And God said, I need to prune these ties because they're taking credit for you and forgetting that all glory belongs to me. He said, I use tools and resources to do my work, yet they think the transformation power comes from them. Cut them off because the power comes from the vine, not from another branch. Episode 23, Set Apart. You know, the Lord, sometimes he does things not only to protect us, but to protect the other people too. You know, there was a time where this girl, like she desperately wanted to come over my house. Like she didn't want to meet somewhere for lunch. She wanted to come to my house. And the Lord said no. And I thought, that's not nice, Lord. Like she wants to come over or whatever. Like I don't mind having her come over. And he said no. And I said, but why? He said, because she only wants to come over to see how you're living, and having her look will only stir up comparison and anger inside of her. And it's going to cause problems, and she's going to stop talking to you because of it. And I thought, what? Like, no way. Like, she's so nice. And here she is on the other end, like, come on, girl. Like, when? What time? Like, I want to hang out with you. And sure enough, she comes over. And the first thing she did, she's looking around and she's like, ooh, I don't have that. I don't have the pleasure of not having to work a secular job to work strictly for the Lord. My husband doesn't have those benefits like yours. It must be nice to have a military husband. My kids aren't so well behaved, perhaps because I work so much. You know, I don't have all the time to spend with them like you do. It must be nice to just Netflix and chill, you know, while the rest of us have to work a real job to make a living. And I felt like a bobcat, like got a hold of me and attacked me and like tore me up by the time she left my house. And I came to the Lord and I'm like, what was that? And he said, I told you. I said, well, I was trying to be nice. He said, it's not about being nice. It's about being wise. He said, I instruct my children to do as I say for the benefit of all of you. You letting her in was from a place of your niceness, but she left angry and resentful. I wasn't so nice after all, huh? I command you to do things because I wasn't just looking out for you, but for her too. I don't want what hurts my children to be fed. Talk about a good father. And then same with someone else, you know, who saw some of my video work and wanted to work together. I was grateful. I'm like, woo, like, let's go. You know, I asked for the track. I prayed over it. I asked the Lord to show me a vision. And I got a vision for it, but I also got instruction that said, don't work with them. And I'm like, why, Lord? Like, they're cool. Like, he just wants a video. And he said, don't do it. They will take the work and they'll trample all over it. Don't cast your pearls among swine. I'm like, wow, Lord, like, that's mean. Like, what do you mean? Swine, pearls, like trampling, like what? Like, that's savage. Sure enough, I go right ahead. All love at the beginning, you know, but sooner than later, that's our videographer. She works for our ministry. And I'm like, no, I'm not your videographer. I run a business and you hired me for this particular project, you know, and I don't mind giving away my work, especially if people are on a tight budget. But I found myself working a lot more than the results were showing for. Does that make sense? And I'm like, man, like, Lord, is this what you gave me this gift for, to give it all away and it produced zero fruit? Swine, pearls, trample. Ooh, it came to remembrance. He said, charge them for the next project and watch how quick they drop you like a sack of potatoes. Hey, easy on me. Okay. Like, but the Lord is real. Like, he's raw with me like that. And sure enough, the next time I'm like, hey, I got your message. You know, you to capture your next project. It's going to be this price. Haven't heard from them ever since. Then I hear from someone in their circle like, oh, Christina used to be about the Father's business, but now she's all about the money. You know, she's turned the Lord's house into a marketplace. If $100, you know, for a project that takes me 18 hours to edit means turning the Lord's house into a marketplace, man, like what a cheap marketplace I run. But scripture says the worker deserves his wages, you know, 1 Timothy 5:18. There's a difference between exploitation and stewardship. You know, charging for skilled labor is not greed, it's order. And then comes the crowns. You know, we put each woman through the fire to test them to make sure that they're a real one. And you, sis, you're a real one. Welcome to the crowns. We girls are a tight-knit clique that don't work well with others, but only the few remnant crowns get to be a part of this group. And sure enough, I'm like, all right, whatever. So I attend one of their meetings, and the Lord said, they don't accept you because in actuality, you aren't one of them at all. But one woman, and this is why I feel like I went, because there was this one woman and she seen me in the spirit and she said, excuse me, why are you limping? How can I pray for you? And I'm like, girl, this is my gangsterling. What's up? Joking. In actuality, I had tore my MCL and I was still healing. But she prayed for me and she prophesied over my life. And meanwhile, the rest of the crowns, they looked at the outer appearance. And then guess what? As soon as I came to the leader of the crowns with a real and raw situation that I needed godly counsel for, she unfriended me. She took me off the crowns group and I never heard from her again. And God said part of learning how to swim in deep waters is also encountering Pharisees and knowing how to discern and navigate through falsehood. And interestingly, I talked to the only woman who prayed for me. And it was no coincidence that she too got booted out from being a crown too. She wasn't qualified after all either. But to sum this video up, let the Lord prune what needs to be pruned in order to produce real fruit and make room for real blessed connections. Glory belongs to God and God alone. Real ones know this and they're grateful to be used by God for his greater plan. And we're to sharpen one another. Our gifts are for the greater good, not self-elevation, self-glorification or credit. And I'm here to tell you, if you want credit, if you want an applause and you want glory, let me tell you that you're only God. You are God for yourself, period. God isn't above you. You are the Godhead of your life and your ministry. The Bible said pride goes before destruction. So we really have to be cautious. Listen, this message isn't about showing these examples to bash people. I know my war isn't against flesh and blood, but I'm sharing so that you can understand how the Lord is a God of mercy, always looking to protect and guide all his children in the right paths, even if it's in different directions. A lot of head and heartache can be avoided if we just listen to God the first time. Unfortunately, if you're like me, who's like a puppy that sometimes just wants to be friends with everybody, we especially have to guard our hearts, not because the Lord wants to divide the body, but because he's setting us apart for his glory. And sometimes that means not being so nice, not being so available, not being so accessible to everybody. And this message was a hard message to share, because a lot of those experiences, like, I want to be a peacemaker. I want to be friends with everybody. Like, can we all just get along, But God is like, no, only because you follow me and only because I've transformed you and I've healed you and you have the joy of the Lord doesn't mean that you're everybody's friend. And I'm like, but Lord, like, I thought the body, don't you want to be connected? Like, I don't understand. But when you ask these questions, he will reveal to you, like, it's not that I don't want you to be connected. It's not that they're in a different place and I'm working on them, and just trust me with them. And I'm working on you in this other area. I have shortcomings. I have weaknesses too. But he's like, I'm working on you and I just need you to be set apart for a little bit. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's not division. It's just individual attention right now. So I'm like, okay, Lord. And he has other people that he wants us to be very tight knitted together with. And so I respect that, But anyways, if this message blessed you, share it and be sure to watch all the other episodes on my Facebook page and on YouTube at Open Vision Vault. God bless you.